Recently I bought the Daiwa Tanacom 1000, and in this video I'll walk you through whether this investment was actually worth it for drone fishing. Now guys, I gotta be honest with you, I was very reluctant to buy an electric reel for drone fishing for mainly two reasons. Number one is that it is quite an investment, $1,000 for an electric reel. It hurts the wallet, right? And the second reason is it might just take away the fun of fighting a fish. But you know, right now it's winter, and in winter fishing is pretty tough around here. And what usually happens is we fly our baits out about 400 to 500 meters just to have some little nibblers pick off all the baits in seconds. And then we have to reel in our empty hooks 500 meters. We have to wind it in by hand. And let me tell you, that takes forever. And it's really annoying. Often, even if we get a bite, we just get some very unwanted species, like for example spiny dog, that we just have to release. That's where the electric reel comes in really handy now. Otherwise we would have to reel in the spiny dogfish for ages, right? So for that reason I bit the bullet and I bought myself the Tanacom 1000 electric reel. We just received our parcel from Drone Fishing NZ, and was really fast actually. The shipping only took 2 days from Auckland. And I also bought a Penn spin fisher overhead rod that goes with this reel, good for fishing off the beach. It's not a bent rod that you often see with these electric reels. It's a straight surf casting overhead rod. I love Penn for its quality, and I also bought some 80-pound braid to spool this reel up. All up $1,400, guys, for this setup, and I hope it's going to be worth it. That's what we're going to be finding out in today's video. Check this out. I really like the design of the Tanacom. That's why I wanted to get this one over the Shimano, because I kind of like the way they designed this reel. It looks really cool. Surprisingly, the cheapest electric reel that you can get, much cheaper than the Shimano. And of course, our favorite fishing drone, the Aero Pro drone, is charged up and ready to go. All right, the first order of business before we can take this fishing is to get this 1000 meter of braid onto our reel. What I already like about the Tanacom is that it has this little knob here where you can directly attach your braid so it won't slip. So that's pretty cool. I'm gonna do a uni knot in my braid, tie this around here, and then we can spool it straight on without any backing. Now guys, today's the first time I'm actually using this reel, connecting it to the battery and all that. I'm a man, so I don't read manuals. I'm just gonna do it all without manual. Let's hope that works. First we gotta have to attach this reel to our rod, right? And then we can attach the line to the reel and spool it up. First step is done. Now we're gonna attach the reel to our battery. So we got our two battery clips here and the thing that goes, the side that goes into the reel. It's got a little bit of a rubber protector here, and that's how we can screw it on. It goes only one way, so we got a little notch here so that we can only stick it in one particular way. Now this side here goes into our battery. I have to get a better connector for that, but for now this should work. I'm planning to make up a 12-volt adapter for that. All right, the reel is on. So this lever here appears to be the one where we can set the wind. That's where we set the speed of the wind. Here's our drag, star drag. When we put our line on, we want to have some tension as always. So good old wooden spoon works pretty good here. And then we use a glove to keep some tension on it. And for that I got my beautiful assistant here. Asian Park, are you ready to hold this under tension for half an hour?
Half an hour in this cold.
So you need to have a willing assistant, which is not always easy. Are you a willing assistant today?
Okay, I'll try.
Okay, we'll see. So we got our 80-pound braid here. We have to get it through the rod first, of course. It is very, very cold and windy right now.
Super cold in winter.
Okay, so now this braid has to come through here, and here's the little hole from the level wind. So we have to come through this one. And then once we get to the other side, we'll just find that little knob here on the reel. We're just going to do a simple 4 or 5 turn uni knot. It's like a slip knot basically. 1, 2, Okay, and pull this tight, right? And there we go. We got our uni knot around that little braid direct to reel knob. I don't know what this thing is called, but it's a really cool feature, so we don't need any backing or any tape to prevent the bait from slipping, right? It just anchors the braid straight onto the reel. Okay, Hitchin, you can wear the gloves here. It's a little bit big, those gloves for you.
I have mine.
Well, it's gonna, you need something strong because you have to put tension on. To just turn on the motor, right? Let's see how we go. You can put a bit more pressure on. Yeah. Well, guys, it's the next morning, and the spooling of that reel has taken us a lot longer than we thought. We managed to get the whole 1000 meters on there, but it took us like 40 minutes. I think we were a little bit too worried about not having enough tension on it, so we somewhat over tensioned the reel. We held too much tension on it, but we got it on. But then the reel was really full with line. I think it doesn't really hold the whole 1000 meters, so I used my screwdriver and I took 100 meters off again, so that we have 900 meters. But yeah, the reel is spooled up and ready to go. Should have read the manual, because it actually has an input function. So when you hold that mode button for 5 seconds, it goes into an input mode, and then it sort of shows how much line you're winding on. So it's got a reverse line counter sort of thing, which didn't work while we were doing it, but that happens when you don't read the manual, right? Now all that's left to do is make up a little bit of a plug for this, because I don't want to always clip that onto my battery terminals here, which is a bit of a pain in the ass. And now we're just gonna put an Anderson plug on here instead. And we're ready to go and give it a try. All right, everyone, it's the moment of truth. That's our Aero Pro drone getting ready. And there we go. Okay. There we go. Fly the drone out. Now, one feature that is particularly useful for drone fishing is that we have a knob here. With this knob we can set actually the drag when we set it in free spool. So this is quite useful for drone fishing, because when we fly out our baits with a drone, we want to have a little bit of drag on the line, right? Especially if it's windy. Otherwise the wind will blow out all our line.
See the camera. Don't see you.
177.4 meters out there. Now let's give it a try. We sort of bring it back. That was just our first cast, so see how fast that goes. So the display shows us the speed. It is about 55 meters per minute. Let's crank it up to full speed. Full speed is around 100 meters per minute. So that's pretty good, and the line is counting backwards.
It's there. Oh.
So it stops automatically when we have 4 meters left on the line, and then we can either reset that and start moving that slowly up, or we can just wind the last bit by hand.
No,
So that worked
nicely
pretty
washed.
good, guys. Excellent. What did we say? 100 meters
77.
per minute was the maximum speed, I think. So 2 minutes for 200 meters.
Yummy bonito. $250.
Okay, let's drop there.
very sunny day actually, sunny winter day.
Look at that, it's so easy. Now I would be standing here winding until my shoulder hurts.
Ah yeah, fish on! Small cow, eh? Oh my god, you are here!
Keep this one for bait.
Ah yes.
Okay, one thing I wanted to try is, can I actually cast with this rod as well, just without the drone, just for fun. Maybe we can do like a small cast. Hopefully I'm not gonna crash down that lip here while I cast. 1, 2, 3. Up. Okay. Yep. It is just too heavy to cast. I don't think a overhead reel makes a good reel for surf casting. Okay, we're gonna pick up and then we're gonna try with our fresh kahawai bait tomorrow at another beach. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about the specs of the Tanacom. So this reel can fit 800 meters of 80-pound braid on it. But from our experience, after we spooled it up, we got about 900 meters on there. Now, the gear ratio on this reel is 2.3 to 1. So for manual winding, it's not very good, but since it's an electric reel, it doesn't really matter. So the maximum speed is 130 meters per minute, which is not too bad. So for like 1,000 meters, it would take us about 10 minutes at full speed to get those 1,000 meters back onto the reel. Another interesting fact here is maybe the maximum drag on this reel, and that is at 22 kg. It's pretty whopping high drag. Yeah, you can pull in 22 kgs or 48 pound with this reel before the drag craps out. The weight of the reel comes in at 1.5 kgs. You can still put it in your backpack and carry it around. Now let's talk about the power setup of this reel. It's a 12 volt setup, so it runs with any 12 volt battery basically, but you got to be a little bit careful with the battery setup because it can draw a lot of power at once. If you use a very small lithium battery, like let's say just a normal 7 amp hour lithium battery, they can only output about 10 amps max. But when this reel stalls up and it can't really move, it will draw up to 30 amps. So that will quickly break smaller batteries. You can buy specific electric reel batteries. They're really convenient because they clip onto your rod. They're small, but they're also really expensive, about $400 for such a battery. Now in terms of rigging, I put on 80 pound of braid here. 80 pound braid is, in my opinion, almost a little bit too much. I should have gotten 50 pound. 50 pound, I would have gotten a lot more line on it, first of all. Second of all, 50 pound is a lot lighter, so when you fly it out with your drone and the braid gets wet, there's a lot less weight that the drone has to drag out. And also when the line hits the water and the drone has to drag it through the water, 50 pound is much thinner, so much less drag in the water. And 50 pound is also more than enough for drone fishing, because try to break 50 pound, that's 25 kilos, that's really hard to break. Well, that was a good haul. 3 great size gurnard. This one is a pretty good one, yeah, look at that.
Look at the fish! Wow! Fish! Wow! Love it!
Another cool feature for drone fishing is that it has an auto stop feature. So when we fly out our 400 meters line or whatever, and then we crank up the accelerator to get it back, it will automatically stop before it breaks the rod and tries to spool everything on the line. So it counts backwards. And when there's only like 5 meters out there, it will automatically stop. So that's a pretty cool feature for unattended bringing in the line. Like I said, it can take up to 10 minutes to bring the line back, and then you don't have to sit there and watch it the whole time. Alright guys, so there you have it. So we bought that for winter fishing and it's been pretty good so far. It increases definitely our efficiency because we can just use this reel to check out our baits more frequently, which we wouldn't do if we had the manual reel, because it's a pain to just reel it always in those 400 meters just to check the bait. So we can do that much more frequently now, which works, pretty good in winter. And also if we get some small nibbles. So This reel is good for winter fishing. It's also good for you guys with shoulder problems, because you don't have to crank it in, and after a couple of winds of 400 meters you get pretty sore shoulder. And also for some automatic retrieval and jigging, if you want to slowly move it over the sand, your baits, and so that works pretty good as well. So a couple of things to watch out for is, like I said, the battery. Choose the right battery for the reel, so it can handle the 30 amps max draw in case that ever happens. Would I buy it again? Well, I kind of like my manual reel, to be honest, because you get better feel for the fishing. If I use my Balsa surf casting rod and my Shimano surf casting reel, then it's all lightweight, so I can hold it in my hand and I can feel every little bite and nibble. This is all a lot heavier, so it takes a little bit away from the fun of fishing, or from catching a fish. But on the other hand, in winter time when fishing is slow, then this is definitely a really good investment. So if you're interested in buying yourselves a reel, then check out the dronefishing.co.nz website. That's where I bought all my stuff from. They are specialized on drone fishing. They're up in Auckland, and they got a huge variety of drone fishing accessories, including drones, the reel, and rigs and everything that you need for drone fishing. I'll leave the link in the description. They provided a link for us where you even get a 5% discount, so make sure you click on that link if you want to order something, and you get a bit of a discount. So I hope you enjoyed this little review of the Tanacom and our first test of this reel. Maybe you got something out of it. Make sure you check out fishingreminder.com for the best bite times. Bite times are actually more important than the gear you use, because when you fish, when the fish are active, then you will catch something. If you enjoyed that, give us a like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.